Emma Raducanu made a late change to her coaching camp ahead of the Australian Open. Emma Raducanu made a last-minute coaching change ahead of the Australian Open as she called in her childhood mentor Nick Cavaday. The pair practiced together in London over Christmas, and the former LTA Academy coach has now joined the 21-year-old in Melbourne with the hopes of forming a long-term relationship that could end Raducanu's pattern of constantly shaking up her team. Raducanu returned from an 8-month absence in Auckland last week, where she reached the second round in what was her first tournament since having operations on both of her wrists and one ankle. There, she was joined by another of her old youth coaches, Jane Raducanu. But the Brit has already opted to make a late decision about her team as Cavaday joined her in Melbourne ahead of the Australian Open. Raducanu famously went through 5 different coaches in an 18-month span before her injury hiatus began last May. This time looks to be different as, according to the BBC, both Raducanu and Cavaday are hoping to work together beyond the Australian Open. The 37-year-old was spotted practicing with Raducanu at the National Tennis Centre in London before Christmas but only got the call to join her down under in the last week. Speaking in Auckland last week, Raducanu said, "I've known Nick since I was 10 years old and he was helping me out the last week at the NTC. Before that the LTA helped me a ton." Raducanu was initially set to compete in Australian Open qualifying but reached the main draw following a series of withdrawals. She will now play some exhibition matches ahead of the tournament with Cavaday by her since. The 2021 US Open winner faces Naomi Osaka in a charity match at Melbourne Park on Tuesday before taking on Mira Andreeva at the Kooyong Classic on Thursday. Cavaday left his post as the head coach at the LTA's Loughborough Academy last April following the news that Stirling Academy would close in 2024. He has since worked with another young British player in 18-year-old Rana Stoiber. He also previously coached Dom Inglot and Aljaz Bedini, before Bedini reverted to Slovenian nationality. Before she had 3 surgeries last May, Raducanu had been working with Sebastian Sachs.